Hey guys, I'm Erfan and you're witnessing my first ever video clip. But hey, as a creative technologist, I'm obliged to do new things. So what is a creative technologist? Well, to understand that, you must first understand creativity and how it varies from person to person. Creativity is seeing the world from a new perspective, such as putting yourself in someone else's shoes or simply observing the world and asking questions. That's also a key trait any creative person must have. Without questions, there's no need for answers. But luckily, a creative technologist has the skill to ask ridiculous questions and the ability to get surprising answers. So my understanding is creativity is not something you learn, but a way of life you must apply to see opportunities. Many miss out on these golden opportunities merely because they can't even imagine what the future has to bring. But a creative technologist is always thinking, what can I bring to the future? The best analogy would be a creative technologist is like glue, pointless on its own, but can put things together to make something new. And that's how the job goes. They can create an idea and then find out who and what they need to put it together to make it happen. And that's where I fit in. Ever since I was a child, I was always told I was living in another world. But as I grew up, I realized I was living in the future. At age 6, I had drawn a picture of a phone and labeled what it could do. After showing it to my mother, a look of disbelief crossed her face, and the only response I got was, "That's imaginative." 10 years later, smartphones have taken over the world, and it was then I realized how far my endless imagination can really take me. After finally discovering what I was good at in life, I began constantly challenging my creativity and soon understood how my mind was different to everyone else's. I would do things like draw pictures from bizarre shapes or write down key quotes I would hear my teachers say, anything to keep my mind thinking outside the box. I made it a goal to use the right side of my brain as much as I could, and I even began to write with my left hand until it was clearly readable. These little things made a huge difference to keep my imagination as I joined the real world. I talk to mechanics who can't think past a hover car, and it's sad to see how much creativity they lack, even in areas they like. In the last few weeks at AUT, I've learned one thing. All the students in the creative technology classes, we are all interested in completely different subjects, but we can bring together new ideas or new angles to look at. I have a personal goal where I want to bring the social back to social networks. I want to be able to use the virtual world to connect people in real time. And who better to get criticism from other than my fellow creative technologists? I wish to use their ideas to help mine grow. And I know the next 3 years of our lives will be full of challenges, but nothing a class full of creative minds can't take on. I believe the following years to come will open many opportunities to change the world, and I'm happy to say I'll be there.